guess what we can do is go in order here. If we talk to this NPC in between or on the other side of the construction terminal, this is Hyperion. This NPC will give you starship upgrades, and these are all blueprints that you unlock using nanites. I've got the majority of the tech trees unlocked already since I've been here a bunch of times. But throughout the game, as you accumulate more nanites, you come here, you hand them over to this person, and you can unlock things like pulse engine upgrades, there's teleportation upgrades, the scanner I showed off earlier is here, the warp drive capabilities you need to get into the different colored star systems are also here. There's some other things like defensive and offensive upgrades. Eventually I'll have to go and unlock these other ones here for the weapons I'm not currently using on my ship. But coming up to this section of the anomaly is where you'll find starship upgrades. Then here is the construction ones. Real quick, the building types, large, small, the tech that you can unlock, we looked at vehicles, aquatic construction, which I haven't really experimented with yet, and then decal designs, decorations. I probably need to invest some more salvage tech here to unlock some of the cosmetic things you can use to decorate your bases and make them look more like someone lives there or more detailed. Things like chairs, flags, tables, desks, workstations, all sorts of stuff requires salvage data. So at some point I'll have to grind, get more of that, come back here and unlock a lot of the cosmetic stuff for populating the bases. And illumination, we have different lighting sources. The industrial modules. These are like power generation I showed off earlier. These are all things that we were getting from the blueprint machine in the base too. Up here, it's all in one spot as well. We've got some electrical things I haven't really messed around with yet. We have agricultural upgrades. I've unlocked the various plants which were in the domes that we saw over in home base. You can also unlock the hydroponics trays, potted plants, and the different containers. Basic materials for construction, we've got wood products, metal products, concrete products, assorted shapes, and storage units. We have all the current storage units unlocked. The majority of them, in fact I think all of them, are installed on our freighter as opposed to in our base itself, which is fine for now. And that'll do it for construction. Over here at the NPC Celine, these are exosuit upgrades. It starts with life support and branches out into things like hazmat gauntlet for picking up hazardous substances. The personal refiner is here. This is one of the first things I unlocked. Hazard protection, aquatic protection, life support. The mobility options for our thruster system are here. I may have to put rocket boots on at some point. Water jets are increased propulsion underwater. And we have the translator units here, which I may slot in once I make some more room in my inventory. So for all of your exosuit needs, talk to this NPC, and there's a free upgrade terminal that I think refreshes daily. It's either daily or weekly. If we run over to the other side of the sort of store here, we talk to this NPC, Iteration EOS. This NPC is pretty cool looking. This is where you get upgrades for multi-tools. With the basic mining beam, it splits into the offensive upgrades, like your bolt caster upgrades, plasma grenade launcher, upgrades and the rest of the offensive weapons. You unlock the survey tool here, along with the combat scope and all this other stuff. When you're trying to get more blueprints for your multi-tool, you come here and fork over your nanite clusters to this NPC, and that's how you unlock everything over here. This terminal doesn't give you anything. The final one over here, over at Iteration Percy's. Here's where you get exocraft upgrades. For the various vehicles that you unlock, craft, and summon on world, you can do things like upgrade the drive propulsion. This is the submarine class over here. You have hazard protection, which is pretty important. In fact, I'm going to get fire protection, since I ran into a couple very high temperature planets, which were a real handful to deal with. The other propulsion and engine based upgrades are all part of this line. We've got signal boosters for scanning, mining laser, cannons, other types of offensive weaponry, environmental control units. This is for the Minotaur, I believe. Yeah, the large walker looking mech, which maybe I'll show off later if I spend some time on world. That has its own host of upgrades. So in order to get blueprints for your craft, your vehicles, you come down here. And other than that, there is a main area up here that links to a holo terminus. If you're partying up with people for multiplayer, you can use this to warp to different spots to go to your different bases or other points of interest. I wonder if I can go over here now that I have my Atlas passes. This section, I believe, requires the Atlas passes in order to access. Simulation terminal. Okay, can't do anything with that yet. What we can do is head over to the other side of the station here. I believe the NPCs are... where are they? They're one room over. Yeah. Nada and Polo are over here. And I believe they'll give you stuff when you talk to them every once in a while. Here's Nada. You transmit milestone data, and you got various rewards for turning that over to these two. Polo will give you upgrades, I believe. Got a movement module for my suit, which I don't really need. Let's see. Can I just give this to someone nearby? We'll see if there's someone down here we can just send this to. Oh, nope. I don't feel like tracking someone down, so I'm just going to scrap it. All of our upgrades are S tier now, so there's no need to really bother with the lower rarity ones. Yeah, that in a nutshell is the anomaly. What used to be a simple NPC spawn is now essentially the multiplayer hub, and it's really neat to sort of port in here and see people running around. You can trade items and party up to do quests in order to get things like Quicksilver and unlock tech. The anomaly, and next thing I want to show off is the derelict freighter system, which is something new. First, let's clear out our ship inventory. Make some room for stuff that we're going to pick up later. Being able to beam stuff to and from your ship when it's close proximity like this is nice. Means you don't have to go through a lot of trouble in order to deal with inventory management. So I'll put this here. When we do the derelict freighter, we're going to need some space in our inventory. So I'm going to take a bunch of the cobalt and store it in my ship for now. I do think, at least until I feel like I don't need any more money, as we explore, I'm going to continue to sell these in new systems, crash the economy, and keep building up my supply of money. Oh, it looks like I have 1.2 billion units. Didn't realize it had gotten that high. Well, that's fine. A lot of the later game things like buying ships and upgrades for said ships gets pretty expensive. So we'll need all the money we can get. Now, as we're out here in space, apparently someone wants to pick a fight with me. Oh, bounty. Well, since that's here, we can go ahead and do this real quick. Shouldn't take too long. Having the higher maneuverability in the ship here makes ship-to-ship fighting pretty straightforward. I might need to go for the positron ejector. Yeah, being at close range is sort of like playing chicken, but the weapon itself does a pretty decent amount of damage. Is that it? I guess that was it. Okay. Taking a look at our inventory, the emergency broadcast receiver is something you can pick up from one of the NPCs, and this is what you use to find the derelict ships. So what you do is you take it, you hit E to tune signal, and then you jump into your pulse engine until it locates the signal of a derelict freighter. What you do is you come out of hyperspace, and the derelict freighter will spawn. And one thing I learned is if you take the broadcast receiver and you stick it in your refiner, and then we'll do the quest instance here over on the derelict freighter. Figure out where to land on it. Normally what you do is you land, you complete the sort of dungeon here, and then after you leave, the broadcast thing that spawned the freighter will disappear. If you put it in your personal refiner and leave it here and then leave, it won't go away and it'll reset. You basically have a chance to use it again and it won't ever leave your inventory, meaning you'll have infinite chances to explore the derelict freighters, which is kind of nice. What we'll do is we'll head into the ghost ship, as it were. Keep my weapon on.